So the next factor for you to know is focus and concentration. But before I go there, we have now covered 7 factors on discipline. 3 that are very foundational, which is self-regulation, then motivation and consistency. These are 3 foundational characteristics that you need, or foundational energies that you need to be disciplined, or in a disciplined way achieve something. And the 3 outward or 4 outward behaviors that you will require is your ability to choose the right kind of goals, to maintain the right kind of time structures, for you to stay persistent with whatever needs to be done, and for you to then take responsibility of all your actions, what you've planned, what you've achieved in the future. And those 4 then are the action elements that you find outside. Okay, so 7 factors. Now the next 3 factors we are going to talk about are pretty much elements. I will call them elements because they are sometimes energies, sometimes phenomena, etc., that you will need to spread all across all these 7 steps. Okay, the first factor out of that is focus and concentration. Then comes your self-awareness, and the last is decision making. And I'll talk about each one of these now. So let's come to focus and concentration. So whether it's self-regulation, whether it's motivation, whether it's consistency, whether it is goal setting, whether it is time structuring, whether it is about persistence, whether is it about taking responsibility, if your attention is not there, you'll go for a toss. And where does this attention come from? It's your basic quality of having focus and being able to concentrate. Many of us who have such distracted minds, and this is not just about discipline. So outside of discipline, we have to ask ourselves this question: do I have the ability to focus? Like, my spiritual guru says this so beautifully. Can you sit and look at a wall for 2 hours and not move and be there? Or like my coach would say, you start your run. If you have to run for 3 hours, you run for 3 hours. If you find that your leg is hurting or paining, something else is happening, slow down, run for the 3 hours. So if you have to run for 3 hours, do that. So like that. So the focus and concentration is about, just making sure that you're zoned in. You zone out from the world. Like many times you hear these sports people or theater artists, etc., talk about when they are performing, what happens. So what they will tell you is that they will just completely zone out all the noises, and they will be zoned in on that particular time. And this is where focus and concentration comes in. Some of this requires us to declutter our mind, but a lot of this is really actually the muscle. So if you can't focus on what you're writing, if you can't focus on what you're reading, if you can't focus on the conversation that you're having, do practice exercises to do this. Like the exercise that my spiritual guru says, sit idle and look at the wall, or go through with the motion of doing something, like my running coach says. So all of these things are the act of continuously going on doing something for extended periods of time. So we have to have this ability to stretch ourselves, to put ourselves into something and keep that attention. Partly this is also the ability to cut out distractors. When something comes towards you, when you're doing something, say, hey, I will attend to this a little later. Make that choice. So there will be elements of prioritizing, etc., that'll come in, but largely this is about being able to zone in, hone in, completely get synced into that task and be one with it and do it. Now, practices like mindfulness, breathing, pranayam, yoga, etc., they help you. But a lot of this is also the inner dialogue of understanding what is one's dharma. What do I need to do in this situation? What is my role in this? What do I expect of myself? Some of it is also your auto-suggestion. There are many people who tell me, oh, I am a scatterbrain. Oh, I am like this. No point, because that auto-suggestion itself is going to destroy your focus or your concentration. Or fear. If you carry fear into a task, it's going to create lack of concentration, anxiety. So all of these things. So there's a bunch of these emotions, and I'll not say negative emotions, let's just say bunch of emotions which are not required. Fear happens naturally to everybody. Everyone gets anxious, some less, some more. So these are naturally occurring pious emotions. So there's nothing about negative, positive. Even joy can defocus you. Even joy can take away your concentration, right? So, like suddenly, you get this flash of this happy memory. Boom, gone. Concentration away from what you're doing. There are so many people who daydream about good things and run into an accident while they're driving or near accidents. So that's why I said it is not about positive or negative emotions. If you're not into what you're doing, then you're gone. You want to enjoy a happy memory, sit with a cup of coffee and sip that coffee and enjoy that memory. But you then are into that memory at that time. That's where the element of focus and concentration is. So the muscle of focus and concentration, the auto suggestions of focus and concentration, a bunch of practices that will help you. And here's what I have learned. People who do a lot of good rigorous physical activity, they have a lot of focus and concentration. People who play music and really well, dance, artists, they have a lot of focus and concentration. So there are certain habits, and especially your physical integrity, your physical strength, your physical condition, your mental strength, these will give you a lot of focus and concentration. So if you don't have focus and concentration, my recommendation, first up, start doing a lot of physical training for yourself, provided your medical condition doesn't interfere with that. If not, you can also do things like playing a piano or some other musical instrument, which then brings you into that zone. And over a period of time, you will get better at it. Okay.